I find it extremely ironic that the same people that talk crap about speculation apps or speculation YouTubers that create top 10s, the same people that hop on IG and talk crap about them either sell comics themselves, brag about how they're flipping 5 to 10 to 20 copies of that spec book, or have their own YouTube themselves, but they don't have as many followers. Why is it that the loudest people either have YouTubes themselves or are on IG every day talking about how they're flipping books or going to the LCS and finding 20 copies of that hot spec book? And you don't think that this goes back to what I was saying, you don't think that you have influencing power? You don't think that the average comic collector on Instagram isn't going on Instagram and seeing your hot gets? Oh, look at that. And that they're not like having eBay open, like, oh, look at this awesome Archer variant. Man, I might want to go buy that now. You don't think that we're browsing here and thinking that, I wasn't conscious of that Submariner book. I'm about to go check out eBay or the Mercari app and see if I could find one myself. You don't think that you are not influencing the market as well? I don't want to sit here and yell and act like this. I don't. I know there's going to be people that, oh, look at Journo yelling at the camera. I don't want this to be that. But it boils down into this, folks. Are we clout chasing? Is that all we're doing? And this is the honest question. I could sit here and accuse people, but I would rather be more humble and ask the question. Are we simply clout chasing? Are we using comic books as a way to catch clout? Does it just feed our ego? Do we think that we're some type of superstar? Is that all we want if we have a YouTube, to get clicks and views? And I'll throw scoopers in this mix. That's why I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're a scooper. I stay away from scoopers. Because to me, it's about validation. Are we just seeking validation? Oh, look, I talked about, hey, guys, you better go oh, no, I know. The Infinity Watch, #1. Warlock and the Infinity Watch, #1. Was I just clout chasing and wanting to be validated if that comes to fruition? And then when it does, I'm going to show off when we get an Infinity Watch storyline in the MCU, do I come to Instagram and show off my 30 copies and say, I told you guys first? And then it fulfills something in me? Or am I talking about Infinity Watch because I value the fact that I think it can be a solid spec book? If we're not just here to chase clout, if we're not just here for validation, then why are we doing the same thing that big YouTubers are doing, that apps are doing, but yet we're getting mad at them? What makes it different? What makes it any different? And I know the majority of you sell comics. And at the end of the day, no matter what you think of Key Collector, no matter what you think of them having an eBay link, but why not? Why not? It's business. It's business. And you guys act like you don't shop eBay anyways. Don't tell me that you don't watch a YouTube video. How many people, how many of you, if I do my top 10 or top 20 Bronze Age keys to invest in for under $100, say I do that video. If I had a link pop up for every book that I did, to eBay or to Mercari, to those listings, how many people would use those links? Wouldn't it be convenient? Because how many of you are watching my video and going on eBay anyways and looking up the books that I'm talking about? And okay, so and maybe I would get a small percentage if somebody clicks those links and makes a purchase. I mean, look, I'm here giving you guys free content every day. You guys don't know how much time I put into this channel. I work 7 days a week. 7 days a week. I go to work. I go to the school. I educate children. I come home. I come home at noon. And I go to work on that day's video. After I do that day's video, I go to work on my next video series that I got to make graphics for. I respond to comments. I'm up until 1 a.m. working on videos. I come back the next day, do the same thing. So if I had a link directing you to eBay or Mercari or whatnot on books that I'm talking about, isn't that just more convenience for you guys? And hey, if I'm getting 2% of a purchase in my pocket, doesn't that help me keep doing what I'm doing as a service to you guys? What makes Key Collector any different? What makes Comic Tom or Bryce Comics or anybody any different? It's a business. And I have yet to see Key Collector Comics tell you to buy a book. I have yet to ever see Key Collector tell you buy this book because it's on my app. I've never, and again, I'm not on Key Collector all the time. I don't watch other YouTubers all the time, but I peek in here and there. I've never heard Comic Tom or Gem Mint tell you to buy a comic. I never heard Bryce Comics tell you to buy a comic. If they have, and I just haven't heard it, you guys can let me know. Send me the link. I've never told you guys to buy a comic. Again, and I'm not telling you to like them or watch their channel. That's personal preference. JG says they don't have to tell you, they know you're going to do it. And hey, yeah, look, at the end of the day, why aren't we looking in the mirror, folks? Why aren't we holding ourselves responsible? I said this before about the Key Collector app. I've only had the Key Collector app for like a few months. And I don't use it that much. But I do look at it from time to time. And I don't take everything listed. I take it with a grain of salt, and I use different sources because I think they can have flaws and inaccuracies at times. I don't see Key Collector app as a problem. I see how we as collectors and consumers utilize the app to that can then become problematic. And that goes to what I've been talking about, my concerns with FOMO. FOMO could be a fun thing, but it can turn problematic. And that's on us. If we are using the Key Collector app and we're buying a book simply because you got a Key Collector app alert, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's like an addiction. That's addictive behavior. But is it the app's fault? No. You got to look in the mirror and hold yourself accountable. I know look, we live in a very crazy world right now where it's culturally acceptable to act a certain way on social media. There is a plaguing narcissism spreading through our society. And why I do believe the majority of us are decent human beings. Our brains are becoming rewired to feed this ego-driven, almost narcissistic mentality at times, even though we may have good intent. We have to do better. We have to do better. And we have to start having the conversations. Think before you act. And if you can look at saying, if I do this, if I comment on this with clown emojis or talking crap or making personal attacks about somebody just because they have a YouTube or just because they sell comics or just because they have an app or just because they have a sponsorship with an app, if I say this or do this, what is the outcome going to be later on? What is the What are the repercussions of my actions going to do for the betterment of this community? And if you sit and think about that, and you still act in ways that are detrimental and counterproductive, and you still refuse to have a conversation, at that point, you're going to convince me that you're not here for the betterment of the community, and that you're just using it, that you're just using the community for some type of personal gain. But just like Brian and I said when we were talking, everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes we don't see that. But you can't keep making the same mistake, hitting your head up against the wall over and over again. There's got to be a point where we learn from these mistakes and we can move forward. The invitation to other content creators or industry players is always open. I'm not better than you. I'm not holier than you. I'm not holier than thou. I'm not anything than you. I'm not better than you because I might have more subscribers than you, or I'm not threatened by you because you have more subscribers than me. I don't care if you spec on books or you don't spec on books. I don't care if you dislike the Key Collector app or love the app. My invitation to you all is open for us to talk it out. I don't want the reason. I'm going to use the music industry as an example. I quit my day job to go do my music. And I had my little 15 minutes. I got to make music and tour with artists that I grew up idolizing, and lived it for a moment. And while being on stage in front of thousands of people, taking pictures and rocking shows with Wu-Tang and KRS-One, and I always put my music out there as a way to influence the world. My life was changed and ultimately saved by Tupac's influence, because I was at a very bad place as a teenager. And if it wasn't for Tupac and his music and his influence, I remember the day. I know I'm getting a little sidetracked, but it's going to make sense, the point I'm making. I remember the day I was 17 years old. I was high as hell, drunk as hell, sitting in the homie's car on the block, listening to Tupac, Are You Still Down, the double album, and I was listening to the song Hellraiser. And in my effed up state of mind, in that moment when I'm listening to Tupac, for those that listen to Tupac, you know that passion he had in his voice. They killed Natasha, now I'm screaming the world, when he's talking about little kids dying and all the struggle and pain that he's seen in his life. Mama raise a hell, raise a why cry. That's just life in the ghetto. It's do or die. And I'm feeling it. And I realize that if I don't change my life, I'm facing a jail cell or a grave. I realized that this is what I was doing with my life. And I pulled away. It took a minute to pull away from it all, but I did. And what was there for me was my music. And I put that same passion and energy. Tupac has a quote. He said, I'm not saying I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. I made it my mission to be that brain. He sparked my brain. Now it's my duty. It's that great power comes great responsibility. It's my duty to now carry on the spark. Now I hope that I can spark the brain. I'm not saying I'm going to change the world now, but now I got to spark other brains. And I did that with my music. And when I got signed to a label and I quit my day job and I went and did my music and was living my dream, my purpose was the message in the music. It wasn't the fame. It wasn't the clout. Although doing that felt great. I'm going to tell you, being in front of a crowd of thousands of people, doing this to your music, rocking with living legends. But at the end of the day, if they weren't listening to my music, if they weren't hearing what I was saying, it didn't mean anything to me. I didn't care about getting off stage and having women come up to me like, oh, Oni Ounce. Okay, are you approaching me because I was just some dude on stage? or you really listen to what I was saying. And I was turned off by that. I didn't want that attention. I don't want that type of attention. If I wanted fame, it's merely because I want more people to be able to hear my message. And my point is this: it's the same thing with comic books. It's the exact same thing with comic books. I'm not on YouTube for clout or for validation because of a status quo or being on some pedestal or platform. I want to reach more people. I want more subscribers. I want more people to see what I do and hear what I say. But it's because of the message that I deliver. It's because I care about comics. And I want to share the knowledge and the information that I have about comics. I'm not mad at anybody that goes out and buys 20 copies of a comic book to flip them. If you do that and you made money, more power to you. I support you. That's why I don't like people that say flippers are ruining comics. No, they're not. No, they're not. Let them do their thing. You order your previews orders and make sure you have it. Right? I don't care if you do that. And sure, it's fun showing off your multiple copies on Instagram or YouTube, whatever. I'm not even mad at that. But no matter what you do, your intent should come from the same place. It should come from right here. No matter what you do. So guys, don't get my words twisted. I'm not sitting here saying anybody that shows off 20 copies of a book they picked up, that their intent is bad or they're bad people. It's not about bad or good. I just hope that your intent is from the heart still. Do it because you love it. Do it for the joy. Don't do it for validation or clout. Because if that's the case, and you start attacking other people for doing the same thing, and you start making up excuses like, oh, well, they're manipulating the market doing it. What's the difference? Because they have 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. I got to a point where I hit a certain amount of subscribers, and the same people that love me, when I had 1,000 subscribers, hated on me when I had 10,000. Because it's not about what we're really doing. Prime time, what's going on, prime time? It's not about what we're doing. To some of these people, it's about the fact that, oh, somebody gets a little bit of success, that becomes a problem. I am not here to attack anyone. I'm here to do the opposite. I want to build bridges. Nothing should matter when it comes to how many subscribers we have, or if we work for an app or with an app or not, if we like to flip comics or not, if we like to hoard comics or not, if we sell or don't sell. None of that should matter. We shouldn't be at war, especially since a lot of times it's pretty hypocritical. We shouldn't be at war. And for those that have good intent and simply want to hold people accountable, you want to hold businesses and industry entities to a level of integrity and ethics, we have to have a conversation. Any other way about it is going to be counterproductive. And it boils down to that. The only thing that is hurting comic books, it's not 40 variant covers. It's not flippers. It's not speculators. It's not YouTubers with large followings. It's not YouTubers that speculate. It's not Key Collector. It's not Go Collect. It's not Cover Price. It's not female characters or brown characters or LGBTQ characters. None of that is ruined. Now, I'm not saying you can't have personal opinions about all these things. None of that is ruining comic books. You know what's ruining comic books? The only thing that is ruining comic books is us being at war with each other. And that's it. That's what it boils down to.